Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Yo-yo. Welcome to Daily Discipline number 539, primarily in a row. My name's Rob Hoback. Happy that you're here. Honored and humbled that you keep coming back like for reals. Hey, it's Wednesday. It's 4/8/20. That means it's a hump day. Can somebody give me a hump day for Aunt Barb, please? I didn't hear it. Hump day. That's for you, Aunt Barb. Hope you're doing great. Can't wait to see you. All right, so this is your first time here. This is part of our daily discipline. It's part of our success system through repetition, positive self-speech, self-talk, affirmation, being thankful, all of these things. And then just a little real talk, right? And we do it every single day. So it's working for me. You're more than welcome to work along at home. If you think there's somebody that would benefit from this, please send them our way. With that, it's a work day. I got work to do. I'm sure you do too. So let's do it. First things first, still the realist. Say something nice about yourself. I am a learner. I love to learn new things. I love to study history because, if we don't understand what our tendencies are, right, how we normally act as human beings, thinking that we're just going to wake up one day and everything's going to be different, silly, right? Like you got to work at it. So you got to learn, right? With that, we'll trans over to thankies, which is the time that we spend every day talking about the things that we're thankful for. Number one, God is good. God's been good to us in the good times and the bad. No disputing. Again, we'll look at when we get past this, when the green light or the red light turns to a green light, like Matthew McConaughey says, we'll be able to look back and see all the places where God was with us and be like, oh, that makes sense now, and that makes sense now, and that makes sense now, right? We're never given anything that we can't handle. Seriously, right? All right. Second, thankies. Disney, man. I don't even know where we found this, but we found this little anger guy from the movie Inside Out, which is one of my favorite movies. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend that you check it out. It's about all the emotions in our mind and how, it's a deep movie as an adult. When you look at it, you're like, oh my God, there's a lot in there, right? But they're excellent messages for kids. Part of it is that you got to have sadness to get to the happiness. Right. Yeah. Little Mr. Anger. Thankful for him. Thankful for those Disney folks, man. They do a good job, right? You got Anger. You got Elsa, Anna. Love it. All right. I'm thankful for my boy Shaggy. So Shaggy and I worked together back in the day, probably, I don't know, like 15 years ago, 13 years ago. It was a long time ago. And anyway, paths went separate ways, and we've just reconnected in the last couple months and got to spend some time with them on the phone yesterday. I derive energy from conversations with that guy in a good way. So thanks, bro. Appreciate you. And appreciate the shout out on Facebook this week. All right. Thankful for the Oklahoma weather, right? Like if you got to be stuck at home, it's nice that just a few days ago, it was down to like 20 degrees or 32 degrees like last weekend, and it was almost 90 yesterday. Not bad. Doesn't stink. Last thing. Thankful for the Department of Justice. Not sure if you guys saw this, but they came out with some additional color on 2018. The Department of Justice had gone in and indicted a bunch of guys that were in charge of FIFA, which is the International Football Association soccer. They award World Cup. And, just all of these bribes that these guys were taking to have like a soccer tournament in the desert in the summer, right? And killing a bunch of people, building it together. Now, what we didn't have when we first had that, when those accusations first came out in 2018, we didn't have the Snickers hold. We got Snickers hold now. So all you got, what's interesting, several of them have died, right? But the ones that are still alive, you know who you are. You know what you did. Just get your ass in the Snickers hold. We'll let you know when you can come out. All right, moving on to real talk. I love this one, right? So just interestingly enough that in my conversation, I had a conversation, repetitive conversation, just kind of goes on and on with some people who I view as they can be abrasive. They don't really, they just get things done. And like, if they break some, it's like that line from Batman with Joker, the original one. When you're making an omelet, sometimes you got to break some eggs, right? Anyway, chatting with somebody, right, who's broken a lot of eggs. And he's like, man, I'm just tired of, just being a jerk all the time to get things done because I feel like people don't respond until I get emotional, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, man? I've been talking about this for like, seriously, like I remember writing on my whiteboard in 2006 in Phoenix, Arizona, you don't have to be a jerk to stand up for yourself, right? but I think they used a different word. So the real talk today is that a velvet hammer is greater than being a dusty. All right, so let me connect that for you. So again, Aunt Barb, when I was a kid, I used to love to go into Aunt Barb's house, and they had this dog, and his name was Dusty. And one day, I remember the story, I don't remember the circumstance, but apparently I was talking to the dog, Dusty, and he bit me, and Aunt Barb said, "What happened? Dusty's never bitten anybody." And I'm like, all I did was call him Dick, and he bit me, right? So, see, we'll make Dusty and Dick interchangeable there. But a velvet hammer is the person who beats down somebody with a velvet hammer. I've worked with executives like this, that they will just undress somebody. The tone of their voice doesn't change. They don't call names. It's not a personal insult. It is, hey, I expected you to do this. You didn't do this. And if you don't do this, then perhaps I should go get somebody else. And it's a paradigm shift for all of us. Like, why isn't that person yelling at me? Because the words that are coming out of their mouth feel like they should be yelling. And I think that just goes back to historically, however many years ago it was, we were encouraged to lie to one another, never tell the truth. And then by the time you got sick of somebody and you hadn't been telling them the truth, then we played catch up. We've talked about that, right? Like going from I'm acting like everything's okay to the next thing, I'm screaming at you, and it's all of that frustration in the middle that you weren't doing what I'd ask you to do, right? And so, again, I worked with recently, an executive, and another person on my team said, yeah, we should call them the Velvet Hammer, because they're hitting people on the head. They're just doing it professionally, and they're doing it in a manner in which it's not emotional. There's the venom is still there, but it is not a personal attack on the person. It's an attack on the results. So yeah, a velvet hammer is way better than being a dusty, also known as a dick, right? So yeah, try that out today. The next time you feel yourself, number one, let's just keep it real with each other, right? Let's figure out how to soften the statement, whatever we got to do to have that difficult conversation, and just say, look, we're better together and we need to figure this out. But that over there doesn't work for me, and I don't want to get to the point where I'm yelling and screaming. I'd much rather be a velvet hammer than a dusty. With that, we're done for the day. Hands up, peace out, we're better together. Appreciate you stopping by on a hump day. Hump day! I'll be back tomorrow on a Thankful Thursday. We'll see you then. Deuces. #Real Talk. Don't you be a dusty.